Hi, Fitness Method family. As you know, our first Saturday class is coming up on April 27th. Now, with that being said, we also do programming, strength training on Saturdays as well. We are still going to provide that, as the strength training is going to be very important for you guys to keep in your weekly routine. So just as we do on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, that is going to remain the same. Now, if you're wondering, do I take the 10 a.m. class on Saturdays or do I do the strength training that TFM is providing? You can do both. When do you do it and at what time? It would be best if you could do the strength training prior to class, because as we know, class is going to be more cardio based. Or if you had to do it later in the day, or you wanted to at least separate the two trainings, it's still okay if you did the cardio in the morning and the strength training later in the day. It would be wise to refuel in the middle and then come back. Or you could still do the strength training. It doesn't have to be in stone, where we provide on Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Maybe Friday you couldn't come in and take class, but you could come in and do the strength training that was ahead for Saturday, and then when you come to Saturday's class, you just take Saturday's class. That will also work as well. As a reminder, it's really important to utilize the strength training that we're providing and to come on this side and use the machines and perform the exercises that we're doing for you. The reason why is because that's going to build a nice steady foundation and stability for all the functional movements we do when we're in class. So lat pull downs gets you better at your kipping pull-ups or your kipping toes to bar, things like that, okay? Leg machines will help you stay more stable when we're performing squats when we're not on a machine. Okay, so keep that in mind as we keep providing these videos for you. Hi everyone, welcome to Wednesday strength training. We're going to be doing some core, some shoulders, and some legs today. Starting us off is our activation for upper body. It's going to be single arm banded press. You can wrap it around your wrist. You can hold on to it this way. Doesn't matter. I'm going to picture at least my arms even with my ears as I'm pressing. So if I'm over here, right, I could pull that band too far back, too much slack. And I don't want it to be the heaviest thing either, where I'm shrugging to keep this back here, or my elbow can only stay back, but my hand can't. It should really only feel like 3 to 5 pounds of pressure pulling that band back. Like you can still see there's slack in it as I press up and down. Okay, again, making sure we're not shrugging into our neck. I'm driving this down as I'm going over my head. So I want a full range of motion with this one. So there's going to be 4 sets of 15 reps per side. And I have that banded roughly about forehead height, right around there. Our next exercise is for legs. It's going to be single arm cable reverse lunges. It's going to be a little bit more Bulgarian split style, meaning I'm going to really be leaned over that leg, kind of how a Bulgarian split squat is, rather than upright. And the arm that I have the weight in, that's the leg that I want in front. So I'm going to back up a little bit because, like I said, I'm going to be bent over. I don't want to stand all the way up with this one. Kind of want to be in a slight hinge position. So I'm bending over more on the way down, and then just keeping that slight angle because I want this glute over here loaded the whole time in almost, like I said, a hinged position. My back is still straight though. I'm not hinging like this, all right? I'm just bent over my leg more as I'm performing the movement. So I'm going to go on this side. Again, the arm that's holding the weight, that's the leg that's going to be in front. I can take a big step back. That will help me bend over more. Again, that front leg is still doing all the work. I barely have any pressure on my back leg. All right, keeping my back straight through here, not staying bent over by doing this at the end and then standing back up. I'm trying to hinge through this, my hip area through here, okay? And that is going to be 5 sets of 10 reps per leg. All right, our third exercise, we're going to be working with the banded overhead press and the cable reverse lunges. is weighted sit-ups, okay? Or weighted toe touches, perhaps. We're going to keep our legs in the air. You can point your toes. You can flex them. Doesn't matter. I have a dumbbell. It could be a kettlebell. And I'm just going to reach. I'm not going to worry about moving my lower half or bringing my legs closer to me for this one. I'm just going to think reach as high as I can, right back down. This is going to be 5 sets of 20 reps. And like I said, you'll do this banded overhead press, then the reverse lunges, then a set of this, and then you're back to the banded overhead press, like a big superset. All right, moving on, we are going to do half kneeling, single arm overhead press with cables, okay? So half kneeling, my down leg is going to be the working leg, okay? I've got the cable slightly behind me. I'm going to be pressing straight overhead. As always, the goal is total body stability. This isn't me leaning over to the side or when the weight comes down, I'm leaning over with it. I'm trying to kneel and be as tall as possible. Again, not shrugging. As I push this up, I'm thinking shoulders down as I'm pressing through, okay? And also, I want to make sure when I come down, my arm isn't opening, my arm isn't collapsing on me, okay? I'm trying to go straight up, straight down like a military press. And again, the cable is just slightly behind me. If I was too far back, the cable would be rubbing on my arm the entire time. So you might have to play around a little bit more forward, a little bit more back. This is going to be 5 sets of 8 reps per side. All right, you're going to be supersetting your half kneeling overhead press with weighted back extension holds. If you're not used to doing back extensions or just your body weight is enough, don't worry about weighted, okay, that's fine. It's going to be 5 sets of anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds on this one. Some things to adjust and remember. Taller person, shorter person, kind of the same thing here. Again, it depends on the range of motion and how your hamstrings and the back of the knee feels, okay? So shorter person, taller person, but also more flexibility, less flexibility. And sometimes it depends on your height. You might not be able to reach these in comparison to that. So you'd have to put a wedge here on both sides. And now that's made me taller instead of having to put my foot all the way back here, okay? So you can do a version of that as well. All right, we need to make sure that this pad is in a good spot. So remember, these are holds. So traditionally, if we were hinging for reps, right, we want that pad right at the bottom of our hips, okay? Yes, for this one, ideally, we want that as well, but we can get away with a little bit more support if we need help, and this is a very difficult exercise for some of you, okay? So you'll see what I mean, right? If the pad's higher, it's going to support more of my core. Like I said, it's fine because I'm holding it. Versus hinging, I'd have to hinge from here if the pad was up here. So correct, that's not what we want. But since we're holding it, we'd be okay. Traditionally, we would want that pad right through here where we can hinge from our hip. All right, so again, I've got my weight. I'm going to come up. I'm focusing on being in a straight line. All right, my core is tight. I'm not going to arch my back for this one or blow my stomach out. And I don't want to be like too rounded where I'm hunched over. For this one, I'm focusing on neutral hips. All right, I can hold a plate or I can hold a dumbbell as well. Again, this is going to be 5 sets of anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds. Closing us out for Wednesday's strength training is going to be Palloff holds in a Z-press position. So Z-press position is just seated, legs out in front of you. If you need more stability, the wider the legs are, the more stable you're going to be for this one. The closer they are together, the more difficult it's going to be to stabilize, okay? So you can gauge it from there. I'm going to have this cable probably about like shoulder height as I reach out, okay? I'm going to focus on bringing that right in the middle, okay? I kind of want that cable basically straight out from wherever my hand is. Not if I was too far forward and the cable is like pulling, you know, behind me. I don't necessarily want that. I want that cable just to be a little bit more beside my reach, okay? So again, holding that right in the middle, I'm sitting as tall as I can, not scrunching like this or hunching over, okay? If this is a difficult position to be in, I can sit on something higher. So my hips would be higher, my heels would be lower. That would be more forgiving. This is going to be 5 sets of anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds per side. Then, right, I'm just going to turn over, do the other side, rest accordingly as needed. All right, our next movement we're going to be supersetting with our Palloff holds is goblet squat style Cossack squats, okay? So nice wide stance. I do want my toes straight ahead for this one. Goblet position is going to be kettlebell or dumbbell, that's fine, around the chest. I'm going to sit on this leg as low as I can. And my other leg, my toe is going to come off the floor. If I try to keep my toe on the ground, I lean over, I'm turning more forward. This will allow me to stay more upright. I'm going to come up, back to the middle. Again, sitting as low as I can, as long as I have good technique, okay? So I can still stay in alignment. All right, what it shouldn't look like is, okay, so let me show you a couple reps from the side. All right, meaning I'm in alignment through here. Right, my hips are still neutral, coming back up versus I come down, I hunch over, right? I'm hunching over on the way up, or I really butt wink at the bottom, right? I'm moving all around, okay? Maybe I can't use a weight, and I'm just gonna imitate that. That's fine. Or I can't go as low, right? I might only be able to go to here. That's fine. Everyone's range of motion is gonna be different. This is also gonna be 5 sets of 8 reps per leg. All right, our last movement for Wednesday strength training is going to be in a side plank position. So let's go over some of those options. Obviously, the hardest position is going to be up on your feet, whether you're here or you're here. Okay, you do not have to make it that difficult, especially if you're not in control of the movement and you're either moving your hips around or the dumbbells all over the place, okay? A half and half is just fine for this one, right? So I got one knee down, one leg straight, or I could do both like this, that's fine. The goal is I'm in a straight line, right? I'm not tucked in through here, right? I'm nice and opened up, like if I was standing up straight. And then I want this part of my arm even with my shoulder. So not too high, not too low. Okay, I'm gonna focus on trying to keep it even with my shoulder. If I don't know what that feels like, I can maybe set it up, put my water bottle in front of there, and that would be my target every time. Okay, so I'm up and I'm elevated. And you do not have to touch the floor. There's different ways to do this, as long as you're at least maybe even with the middle of your chest and right back up. Somewhere right around there. Again, focusing, I'm not shrugging to pull that up. I'm not getting out of alignment. I'm keeping my body nice and straight, and my dumbbell is in control. This is going to be 5 sets of 10 reps per side. I just roll over and then do the other side.